we did identify critical source areas. Those critical source areas were identified through that combination of at a baseline, starting with those priority areas based on topography, based on soils that are potential sources of sediment coming off the landscape. That's through that ACPF modeling process. With that as kind of the baseline, we then added on those factors related to riparian filter strips, related to feedlots, to see how those things overlaid. And so when we had a particular part of the watershed where many of those factors were all happening at once, we knew that was going to be a potential hotspot where we should be focusing our activity to try to develop additional voluntary conservation opportunities. The critical source areas were throughout the watershed. So we see them in primarily the areas where the topography switches from a more upland plateau down into the river valley of the Sauk River. So in that transition zone, that's where we see the biggest topographical changes and the biggest areas where runoff has the most possibility of moving sediment along with the water. And so that's happening on both kind of the eastern and northeastern portions of the watershed on the north side of the river, as well as on the southwest side of the river, where again we have more of that transition between plateau and river valley. In the southwest portion especially, we have a lot higher sand concentration within the soils. So those with that really coarse textured soil are particularly vulnerable. Even though the topography isn't as great, we do see a lot of movement due to just those very coarse textured soils.